Testing 1, 2, 3. 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 Hello guys, how's it going? How's it going? Let me see. How is it going? How it is going? All right, so let's go. Can anybody hear me? Or no? We can hear? Okay, that's good. Today we're going to be fixing the issue that we had before, which was actually commented about someone on the Discord server, on the general channel. As you can see, if you go scroll up, we have this comment right here, which, as you can see, Chuck Norris said that he has this bug right here. This bug is all about, you know, the snapping effect that when you turn the camera, as you can see, the gun, it goes left, it snaps to the right, and it's very weird. It's a very weird issue when you're aiming and then you're turning in place while idling, while standing still, you know. So that's a very buggy issue, and it's very annoying. We don't like that. So what I did to fix it, as you can see, we don't have that issue applied yet so far. I don't remember what I did. Let me just see on the Sandbox character. And we have this aiming curve in here. I think I only applied that aiming curve to the pistol, if I'm not wrong. So that's why it's not applying. Let me just see. Yeah. So here I have the make the turning place to look natural. I'm going to get the rifle, and then I'm going to get the pistol so that you can see the difference. So when you're aiming, and then you're moving to the right or to the left, as you can see, it snaps, and it's very weird. It doesn't happen in the ALS. Now, when I pick up the pistol, as the pistol has that layering system, added to it, when I aim, as you can see, it's a lot more smooth. Let me just increase the screen here so that you guys can see it. It's a lot more smooth. As you can see, I can turn, the arm stays in place, and I can shoot. Now, how did I do this? Well, basically, if you have the same system I have, it's a lot more simple. But if you don't, you're gonna have to figure it out on your own. But basically, it's just getting the pistol aiming pose, the animation. And in my case, it's the overlay layer. I'm going to get the overlay layer and the overlay cache. I'm going, hold on. I'm basically going to get the overlay state and plug that overlay state into here on the layer blend per bone. And on the layer blend per bone, I've added the clavicle R and the spine 0.5 and the blend depth to be 3. Emin Yahaya said hello, hello, what's up? So when you pick up the rifle, as you can see, it's snapping. Now to fix that snapping effect, as we have the setup right here, and we have also the aiming curve, which you also really need to set up in the update layer values. So if you don't understand anything that I'm saying, don't worry, you're going to, especially for for beginners and people who are joining right now, maybe don't know anything about this, or maybe you, I don't know, you have no idea how everything's happening. You have no idea what's happening. You're going to understand eventually. So we have the IsAiming curve that I've added in here in the update layer values, which is updated at runtime. So if I debug this, as you can see, it's updating. You can really see what value is being set in there. And basically it tells me if the character is aiming based, if it's playing that animation that has that curve. And if it has that curve value set to be 1, we are going to set the IsAiming curve float value to be 1, which means that the character is aiming, is playing that animation so that the character is aiming. And which animation I'm talking about is basically the aiming animation. I've only added for the pistol aiming animation, but if you go to the overlay layer, let me just close all the tabs here, it's a mess. If you go to the animation graph, as you can see here on the overlay layer, we have the overlay states. And here we have all the states of the character. The rifle states, the pistol, you can get whatever you want. I've only added for the pistol, so I'm going to show you how that looks like. So I'm going to go to the pistol. And when we're aiming, as you can see, this state is executed. So when I get the pistol, as you can see, that state is active. It's going to be active. It has to be active. And as soon as I aim, when I'm idle, when I'm standing still and aiming, this animation here is executed, so it's used. So as you can see, it's running. So when I click on that animation to see, we're going to show you how that looks like. So I've created a curve value to be named as IsAiming. I think I should name this to be layering. No, I think that doesn't make sense. Just name it to be IsAiming, or whatever name makes more sense to you. And I'm going to set that to be 1 because the character is aiming with the pistol. Here is with the rifle, but it's going to be aiming with the pistol. Now this is pure gold. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the pistol. So what I'm going to do is just copy. You can just select the curve and press Ctrl+C, or just copy from here, select copy from using this one, Ctrl+C. You can either do any either ways. I'm going to go back to my Sandbox character, which is the parent, and I'm going to go to the rifle. And here's the aiming rifle. Let me just get the rifle to see which animation that is. Okay, so we We're using the aim move because we don't have a set of animations, we don't really need to use, as we're idling, we don't really need to use a stand aim idle, if it's up to you. So I'm going to stop the game, and what I'm going to do here, as I've copied that curve value in there, I'm just going to select any curve in here and just going to press Ctrl V, and IsAiming is going to be 1. So that means that the curve value is going to be active over there in the animation graph, as you can see on the layering. This layered blend per bone is going to work. So when I press on play, and when I pick up the rifle, as you can see, if I move, I still have that. I still have that snapping effect, but it's a lot more less. I didn't test with the rifle, to be honest. Let me test with the pistol. You can see right there. Now let's test with the rifle. Yeah, but it's a lot more less. Let me just change this value to 0 to see how that's going to look like. So pick up the rifle, and if I move, as you can see, it's a lot more snappy. It's like the character's losing control of the weapon. Yeah, I think it's a lot more smooth now. What do you guys think? Is it good? Is it any good? Any better? Insight99 said, hello, hope you and chat are well. Thanks. Appreciate that. So yeah, that's it. Let me just see what I'm going to say or do next. I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to be commenting about is about the IK. I noticed that the fabric and the tube-on IK doesn't really work well with the character. So let's say, for example, the Sandbox character, it has its own hand IK. As you can see, I've done some changes in here, but we can just replace that change with this. Before, it used to be like this, the execution flow. We can use this one, doesn't matter. Then plug into source and compile. What is the arrow? Yeah, I'm gonna have to delete this one. That's no problem. Oblivion said hi. Hello. What's up? So as you can see, when you press on play, get the weapon. As you can see, the arm of the character doesn't really work good. I'm not sure if that's a problem of the where the arm is placed. Maybe it is. In the gun itself. But it looks bad. But how did you make the character walk backwards facing the camera and not doing the running backwards animation? You mean the strafe? Like this? How did you make the character walk backwards? Like this? Yeah, if I try to run backwards, it doesn't really work well. Hello there, how are you? I'm doing good, how about you? Yeah, I'm still testing these things. I'm not sure if they work or not, so I'm not going to comment about them. It's just a test that I'm doing, just see to be able to fix some issues. So don't need to worry about all this. Yeah, I guess he meant the strafe when you turn around. I tried move GASP to ALS but failed. Did you try that? Moving GASP to ALS, I think it's easier for you to move ALS to GASP because the GASP has a lot of dependencies. They need to be in the project. I think plugins, the motion matching plugin, whatever. I'm not sure about which exact plugins or which exact things you need to move to the other project if you want. Yeah, I think that the question is that that's the answer. Just press on right mouse button. If you're using the GASP, you can strafe. Basically, we change the rotation of the character. We enable it. We change some character settings in the backend, and it makes the character to move to the left or right, backwards, blah blah blah. So to solve this issue here, as the character, if you aim and if you try to run backwards, we could stop aiming. We could force the character to stop strafing, actually, and stop aiming as well, and then make the character to run free, have the free orientation movement. Adam said, "I'm fine." And so, what are we working on today? Sorry, I missed some streams. No problem. Well, in this stream, I have some list that I have to do, that I have to follow, but essentially what we're gonna have to do here is just fix the bugs that we have. As you can see, when you pick up the weapon, it doesn't work. It's because I'm missing the IK system in here, so let's plug that in there. So when you press play now, for this live stream, we're going to be setting up some curve values in the animation. It is still snappy, but I'm gonna check it out later what it is about. As you can see, the right shoulder of the character, when you aim up, the shoulder gets smaller, the bone distortion happens in there. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to fix this one because, oops, not collision, just show developer bones. Okay. Yeah, anyways. So maybe that's a problem of the animation itself, or maybe that's a problem of how the weight was painted into the skeletal mesh when the person was rigging it. So we could have those bugs, but that's no problem. Also the cloth, it glitches with the t-shirt glitches with the short. So I have this issue here as well. Just minimal bugs, minimal details. The turning place when the character is not using any weapons is very realistic, especially with the skeletal mesh. I think the rotation rate is too high. If you go to the event graph and the sandbox character on the event graph, if you go to update movement, no, rotation, update rotation pre-CMC, you're going to have these options in here. So in the GASP, they have set up this way. So if the character is not falling, the rotation rate is going to be 200. If the character is not falling, the rotation rate is going to be set to be -1, which is going to basically disable the smooth rotation rate that the character has. And this comes by default in the GASP. So when you press on play, as you can see, if you try to debug that, you're going to be able to see what's the current value of the rotation rate that they set for when depending on the character state. And the reason why they set the rotation rate to be -1.0 is because you can do the turn in place. Because if you didn't have that rotation rate to be set to be 200, if you had the rotation rate to be set to be 200, if you try to turn in place, the character is not going to be able to do that easily. It would require more input of the player to actually make that work. And basically that's how you disable the turn in place. That's how they made it. As you can see. Hello, what's up, Guy Zai? Guy Zui. So that's basically how you disable the turn in place, by just making the rotation rate to be 200 if you want to do that. Of course. Now, if you set the rotation rate to be 50, let's see what happens. It is still going to have, it's going to need to have a lot of input from the player. Let's set it to be 200 and let's try to aim. Let's see what happens. So, get the rifle. As you can see, that that sort of delay, it happens on the Last of Us 2. You have that sort of delay. I don't personally like this. Maybe this could be a parameter based, so that if the character has enough skills, if the character is low, then the aiming should be slow. So if you pick up the character that is very agile, it's very fast, it's very, depending on the skill that the character has, the character is going to be able to aim more accurate like this, right? So we could make it a perimeter-based setting, so that we can set that based on how much skill the character has. I think it's better to set the rotation rate to be -1. Morales said, do you think GASP ALS is suitable for a listen server co-op game? Regarding multiplayer replication related stuff, I don't know. I only focus on the locomotion part of the systems, so I can do my best on that, but I'm not sure. As you can see, when I stop aiming, the character snaps. And I think to remove that snapping effect, I'm gonna have to do something really interesting here. Guys, I'm going to be quiet right now because I need to focus on what I'm going to do. I cannot. But if you have any questions, you can ask. I see that people are helping each other in the chat. That's really good. So you need a good CMC, I guess, a character movement component, CMC. I've been trying to create a co-op game with ALS, but clients use the animations are like 10 FPS and some desynchronization. Yeah, I think blueprints are not really... If you're using blueprints, I'm not sure if you're using, but I think blueprints is not really good for multiplayer. I think it's good. But you can take the Lyre project as an example. The Lyre project could be an example for a multiplayer game. You can play, you have a lot of blueprints, and I think it's made 100% on blueprints. I'm not sure. But I think C++ you can get better performance regarding network related stuff. Replication. But yeah, there's no problem. You can do in blueprints, and then you can convert that code later to C++. So you can use both, and you can put the code related part that's most important for the network, for the game to work online, to C++. You can convert that the most important codes that's related to basically make the most important related part of the code to make the multiplayer game to work, and convert whatever is in blueprints to C++. Maybe that could help. I'm not sure because I'm not specialized in network replication, but that's what I've just heard on the internet. So you're gonna have to run those tests yourself to see which one is the best performant. Maybe that could help. But I think it really depends on how you're trying to do things, how you're setting up the code. Because yeah, those topics are very, very complex to explain. Yeah, because you can you cannot always be good at everything. For example, I specialize in just one single part of the game, which is the locomotion part, the gameplay systems, pick up weapon, pick up stuff, make the character to vault, jump, whatever. So if you try to learn locomotion stuff and then try to learn UI and then try to learn replication and then try to learn materials, you get lost. So what I was thinking of doing here is make the rotation rate Z a parameter-based value. So yes, I've already downloaded that ALS replicated version that works. That's fully on C++. And I've already tested the ALS replicated version with C++ with my friends. So I played it on my PC, and my friend from the other side, which was actually my brother, he played that. I've made the system, the online system, to host. So you have to host the session. So I had to do all the stuff of routing, the router. You have to set up your router. I don't know, to make it so that it works with what you're trying to do. So I tried to host a session and it worked. It worked very good. And yeah, I think it works better with C++ because I've never seen a multiplayer game that's working directly from blueprints. That's great. Great stuff. So I'm going to set the rotation rate to be negative. Yeah, -1 is the default, so that the character can turn in place. So what we're doing right now, if anyone is wondering, I'm trying to fix the snapping issue that happens when you aim, when you're aiming like this, and then you, yeah, right now I'm, when you're running like this, when you're aiming like this, and then you suddenly, not suddenly, but release the right mouse button to stop aiming. And if you're running to the right, you see that the character snaps to the right, and that's not good. So that's not professional. So trying to fix that right now. It's not a AAA game, so we're going to make it AAA. I think I should change the title of the live stream to be making a making AAA game challenge. How do you feel about resolving that snapping through animation chooser dataset? And what is that? Jeez, animation chooser. Are you talking about the data table? The chooser table? I'm not sure how to use that yet, so I'm not using it right now. I think it's definitely good, but I need to learn how to set it up first. Need to learn how to watch some tutorials to see what people talk about it, if it's worth using, how to use it, when to use it, and if you should use it, when to use it. But it's definitely, I think it's definitely worth it to take a look, because this is something that they've implemented, and for the reason of, making the code cleaner and more refined. But I still need to test it to see how this chooser table is going to behave, because I don't, especially when you're using something new, you really have to test it out and see how it works. You have to really test setups and see if you're going to have bugs, especially something new like chooser table. Chooser table, I think it's pretty new, recent. It was added recently, so you need to really have control of what you're doing. Yeah, the animations are definitely part of the whole process. If you don't have good animations, then then it's not AAA. And what I would recommend is to just try to make the backend logic with the animations you got, and then you can just hire a studio that makes those animations, and you can hire another studio that refine those animations to be how you want them to be. And you're gonna have to basically tell them how you want the animations to be refined based on what you got of experience with working with these locomotion systems. So as long as you have the backend logic, it's all you have to worry about to make the backend logic, because as long as the backend logic works and it's very well refined, you have the animations, even though if they look bad right now, it's definitely something that you could fix in the future. You don't need to worry about the animations right now. Also, the IK, don't really need to worry about the IK because it's just a post-processing method. And the IK is something that you need a lot of time, and usually it takes a lot of time, and it's something easy to do, and that's what makes me mad. Yeah, I need to solve this bug. If I press to pick up the weapon multiple times, sometimes the character holstered the gun instead, as you can see right there. But everything works. I think the backend logic, it's right. Seems right. Now I'm gonna have to debug that rotation rate because I need to know what's the current value of it. So I'm going to go to the debug function, and I need to have another get the rotation rate, and have another node like this one. For the shrink, the color is going to be the same. Could be white. Shrink is going to be this one. Rotation rate. That character is on top of the mesh and hide the mesh. What do you mean? Character is on top of the mesh. I don't get it. I don't get the question. So I think this is working. You can see the rotation rate in there. The rotation rate smoothly gets set for from 200 to -1, which is what you want. But I think the timeline should be set to be, should take 3 milliseconds. I mean, the default mesh hiding game. Ah, are you talking about the, yeah. Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah, so Epic Games, when you press N, you can switch characters. Oops, the fabric node is glitching out. I see you have to solve that. Let me just fix the camera. Here's -90. Yeah, it swaps. If you get to the PC Sandbox, if you click on that, you're going to be able to see that we have the next character. So as soon as you press N, this executes. So as you can see, when you press N, it's going to throw up a lot of errors because I have to set up the IK. It's work in progress. But you basically get the current character, and then we have the list of the characters in this list in here on the single variable. I think this is array. It has to be an array because you can add multiple animation blueprints. So as you can see here, we have all the animation blueprints that we can have. And then you can, if you want, you can also add your own retargeted character by making a child of the sandbox character. If you want to add a new character, let's say, for example, with a skeleton that you don't have or something like this, you're going to make a child blueprint class. But generally, you have pretty much everything you need, because even if you download a character, let's say if you want to use this character right here, this character I downloaded from the fab, from the marketplace, and this character is assigned. This character is rigged to the U4 skeleton, so you don't need to do any retargeting stuff. You just need to go there, click on the U4 mesh, or in the mesh. Don't click on this one because it's the U4 skeleton. Don't need to touch that. Click on this one. Then in here, all you gotta do is just basically change the mesh, and that's all you gotta do. This used to be the U4 skeleton, and as you can see, all the sockets are going to be really weird because I didn't set up the sockets on the skeleton, so that's why. So here in this mesh, I think it is visible, but it is invisible in the UFO mannequin. So you have to set that to be visibility off, and the visibility based animation tick option has to be always tick pose and refresh bones. If you don't tick that, then it's not gonna work. If you just always tick pose, I think the character is going to be on the pose, as you can see. Not going to really work anything. So always tick, pose, and refresh bones, and that's all you gotta do. This comes by default, so you don't need to do anything. But if you show the visibility of the the UFN character, you're going to have the character on top, as you can see. Pick up a weapon. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. Visibility off. All right. They've let some code in here that I don't know. Potch is pawn. I don't know what this is. They just let it there. So this is just basically going to find the amount of characters there is. So this is going to divide by adding 1. Yeah, it's some crazy math. Then it's going to set the current character index. And then based on that current character index, it's going to pick up from the array. And it's going to select that class and then spawn based on the current actor transform, blah, blah, blah. Camera blend node. That's the camera blend node. What does that do? Set view target with blend. Oh, okay. Maybe you want to change your character and the character is spawned on another side of the map. Is that it? And then you have to use the view target with blend to smooth out that transition of changing characters, maybe. Not sure. So let's get back to the event graph. All right, so let's see if I'm aiming it this way. The rotation rate is set to be 200. Now it's not snapping anymore, as you can see. But when you aim it with the camera, as you can see, it takes a while. It takes a while to aim. All right, see you. Good luck. Ah. Not bad. All right, I think I have a solution. A dissolution. COVID. Guys, I think this character really looks good. It's just some adjustments here and there for polishing, but it looks really good. Especially with the GASP system. And the retractment is really good as well. As you can see, the hands are not glitching at all. As you can see, the hands are in place. So this character is perfect for the purpose of the tutorial. I missed that. Yeah, I think this is perfect now. I mean, the code is a mess because they're not using any choose a table or any advanced coding, but that's what we got for today. It looks good. How are you handling weapon equipped during mentally parkour animations? I'm not handling that right now. As you see in the ALS, if you go to the ALS, you have the weapon handling when mentally and doing parkour stuff, but right now I'm not focusing on that because that's just a refinement phase for later. And it's good to think about that. So I have to write down the most important things. Fix rotation rate when aiming. When aiming. Yeah, actually. English is not my native language, so I have that excuse. Add weapon handling. For it looks good when you don't have any weapon, but if you have a weapon, then it looks bad. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me just save this for later. This is for, let's say, I don't know. Let's just collapse this graph and let's say unarmed. It's the snapping trace line. What trace line? Trace line. The trace line of the weapon. Yeah, the whole character snaps. So the trace line, which is connected to the character's arm, and actually the trace line is connected to whatever location and rotation the weapon is pointing at, and the weapon is the weapon location is adjusted as whatever the character is going to follow the character's hand. So everything is following each other. Okay, I'm going to remove the play from start from here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, true. Could be. Yeah, I'm not saying anything right now. I'm just focusing on what's happening with the rifle. But probably it's because of the, not the rotation rate itself, but because of the IK we have set up. Maybe something it's off. Maybe something's off. I'm not sure. So if you guys have any questions about anything, just ask. I'm here to help you. This bug is very funny. Nickerman said that's so amazing. Yeah, I know, right? We've been working a lot on this recently. Actually, I work on this every day, so we must have a result. This is available for only Patreon members, especially the premium members. They get access quick. So as soon as I end the stream, I compile the project so that the members can have access to it. Now the standard members, they get access, but late in the future, when I update to the Devlog 30, 40, 40, 41, they're going to be able to get access to it. So that's just to differentiate the tires, because otherwise it's not going to be fair enough. Yeah, the arm is not looking good, but it's definitely something we can fix in the future. Just small little problems in probably in the back end, probably in the IK system, or probably it's because of the animation, or probably it's because, yeah, it could be many things. And those small things are easy to fix, so we shouldn't worry about the deformations, the bone deformations we have so far. As long as the backhand and it visually looks good, there's no problem. Yeah, it could also be weight painting and in the skeletal mesh, so I have to pay someone to do it for me because I don't know how to do it, so I have to delegate. I think the problem is on the rifle because it's not happening on the pistol. As you can see, if I pick up the pistol and aim, and as you can see, the rotation rate is applying. So as soon as I aim, the rotation rate is set to be -1. And as soon as I stop aiming, the rotation rate is quickly set to 200, and then it slowly goes to -1. So that's a genius thought. So fix this. Especially, yeah, really pay attention to the small details, because everything happens just the small details that makes the difference when the game is almost done. Which is not the case right now, but you know, as we notice the small details, we try to fix whatever we can. That doesn't take that much time. Yeah, I'm gonna check the animation blueprint. We're gonna do some debugging right now, so you guys can see how everything is going here. Yeah, this issue is very annoying. Let me debug the Sandbox characters to see what's going on. So if you toggle the pulse watch in here while debugging, we're gonna be able to see how everything is in place. I'm not seeing somehow the skeletal mesh, so perhaps we're gonna have to enable the Sandbox character visibility. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to enable the visibility. Now press on play. Let's see, pick up the weapon, and then try to see what's happening. Yeah, we're having problem inside the Sandbox character, not in the generic target animation blueprint. Oof, snaps. Snap. So disable this rifle, toggle pulse watch. There we go. Let's go. Snaps. Okay, I think, yeah, it's not over here, the overlay layer. It's definitely something before that. I'm not sure what it is. Let me just see if some montage is playing. No idea. Let's check the motion matching layer. Toggle pulse watch. Yeah, even that. Okay, let's try to get the rifle on the Sandbox character. Gonna have a lot of issues, but that's what we gotta do. So, Debug, Sandbox character, toggle, pulse watch. Okay, interesting. And it's only happening with the pistol, with the rifle in this case. Let me get the pistol to see what's gonna happen. It doesn't happen. Oh yeah, the character snaps in the back end. Really interesting. It is snapping in the back end. Could be an animation issue, like specific animation in the chooser table. Which chooser table do you think it is? The chooser table of churning. Yeah, it should be an animation, and it's coming out of the motion matching layer. Let me just disable everything. I think the rotation rate is something that's really complex to deal with because it messes up with the motion matching. Yeah, I think the spine is snapping, the whole spine. Pistol is fine. Pistol also sometimes it snaps, especially the arms. So snapping issue is always annoying to fix when you're dealing with the rotation rate, especially because it was not happening before. So you need to track down and fix those issues as soon as possible and prioritize them, because especially those issues that are clearly visible, they are very annoying and I don't like to have. Let's increase this. Let's just set to be 1 second. Crazy value length. Let's set the length and time to be 1 second. So it's going to take 1 second to go back to the -1 value which causes the snapping effect. So let's just delete that effect and see what happens. It snaps as well. What if I delete all of this and then set the rotation rate to be 200? And then only set the rotation rate of -2 only when the character is not with the weapon and is standing still, turning. Let's see what happens. Oops. It's still snapping. So the snapping is not something related to the rotation rate. It's something else. Let me just delete all this mess that I've done in here, disable the IK system and disable, because that's something that doesn't happen when we do that. Let me just disable everything. Disable. That's why it's really good to make a copy, and that's not something that I did. Make a copy of the whole project. The whole project is about 8 gigs. It's not much, and it's mainly 8 gigs because I have another map that's included in the project file, so that's why it's 4 gigs more. Monster Mode said hello. What's up? And it's interesting because it's not something that happens when the character is on the default. It's not using any weapon. Okay, interesting. Okay. Okay, so we might have the issue here. Maybe it's this node. We just make the turning place to look natural and aiming while standing, which is great. It really works good. But if we disable that thing, try to aim. So 2 snaps happens, which is based on the rotation rate. Is because of the rotation rate. And the second snap is when the weapon, it comes down really quick. Really quick. And it could be just... it could be really quick, as you can see. If I disable that, then we don't have any snapping. And it really looks good. How about a snap test while walking? Good idea. How do I go to the walk mode? Do you guys know? Is it V? How do I go to the walk mode? Press. Which key do I press? Control? Oh yeah, control. Control. Left control. Yeah, that snapping effect in the backend is going to happen because that's what it is. That's what comes by default. Because when you set the rotation rate to be -1, you basically disable everything. The rotation, you basically disable the rotation rate, which is going to cause the character to snap always when you move directions, as you can see right here. You can see that it is snapping on the left side panel because that's the preview what's really happening. You can have a preview of the rotation rate of the character, but in the motion matching, it pretty much smooths everything out, so you don't see jittering. So to prove that, if you toggle the motion matching, which is represented by the color pink, and if you toggle the pulse history, toggle the pulse watch, which is represented by the blue line, the blue bone, as you can see, even if I press everything, the blue bone is going to be very smooth, and the pink one is going to be very snappy. Let me just connect everything back. Now I know what the issue is. It's because of this node. I haven't set it up correctly. Okay. So compile. Okay. I'm going to set the rotation rate to be 100 to see if we have any snapping. Of course, everything is going to be smooth, but it's not going to be the ideal because it's going to be very smooth. So you have to deal with when we should choose it to be smooth, the transitions of locomotion. Oops. Okay. So as you can see, it's very good. No, this is quadruple A quality. Alright, so let's test the setup now. Let's just connect the inputs in there. And let's see. So the issue is that I've implemented a layering system that I haven't tested before. And what I've done is just try to implement another system while the other system wasn't done yet. So we might have those issues, and that's what really happens. And that's what really happens to everybody. Sometimes you want to rush things, and if you want to rush things, if you rush to implement another system while the other one is not done yet, which might interfere with the system that you're implementing, you might have a high chance to have bugs in your project, like I have on mine in here. I spent almost 1 to 1 hour and a half trying to figure out what was happening. And that's something to learn for everybody. So if you're trying to implement a system, just finish it first, test with different let's say you implement the crouch function. You have to test the crouch function with, aiming with the rifle, for example. Let's say the crouch function and the crouch ability was something that you've just implemented. You're gonna have to test the crouch while, shooting with the weapon, while aiming up and down. Test the crouch with, running with different methods. Try testing the crouch walking, holding the weapon. You have to basically make a whole debug to find development issues, bugs, basically find bugs while testing one mechanic. So if you add one mechanic, you have to combine and test that mechanic with the other mechanics that you have, and basically try to find the bug. I'm going to disable this mesh, it looks weird. U4 mesh visible. Whoops, not this one. Mesh, there you go. Yeah, worth adding to notes. Yeah, those are gold informations. Whoever is in this live right now is getting the gold information of game development. I should make a ebook. I could be easily charging like $200 for all the knowledge I passed. Yeah, the reason why it's a GASP is a mystery is because Epic Games has just really the team has just talked about the motion matching and all those things that is really complex to set up, and nobody's going to really know how to set it up even watching the live because it's very complex. So even I don't understand how the motion matching works, how to add new animations to it. It's just the way it is set up, it's good for me, but I cannot be able to add animations to, it's a lot of things to set up. I didn't understand very well. So you kind of have to know and know how to adapt things and just let the motion matching layer, which is the base locomotion, there, don't touch anything, and then just add things on top of it. That's what we do. There you go. I think now it's working. As you can see on the left elbow, it glitches sometimes. It's okay. The left elbow goes too much forward sometimes, and sometimes it gives a little bit of snap. It's more like a more smooth snap, but it's still a snap. But now we just fixed it. All I have to do now is just add the make sure that we really finish a setup. So let's say, for example, I've already fixed the issue. Oh yeah, let me just change the 1 sec. This is just too much. 1 second is too much. Let me just set it to be 0.3 milliseconds so that we have a better smooth transition, a faster transition, a faster smooth transition that doesn't cause snapping. So you really have to pay attention to that. And I think the ones that are really understanding what I'm saying, especially beginners, might feel lost. Don't really understand what I'm saying, and it's pretty much okay. I think probably only the ones that are already familiar with all the timelines, the curves, and already has a solid knowledge about how the nodes work. I think they're the ones that really understand what I'm trying to say. But anyways, let's go back to making it make it work. It's very nice. I like this. It's just the arm sometimes it glitches, but that's okay. But everything else is just smooth. I think when you're falling, they set the rotation rate to be 200. I don't know why. Let me just see why. 200, let's set that to be the default rotation rate. So as you can see, now it's 200. Now I'm going to try to fall. Yeah, as long as you set the rotation rate to be 200, the character is going to be hard to turn while in the air, which makes sense. But if you want to make the character to rotate easier when he's falling, you can set the rotation rate to -1, doesn't matter. Or maybe -1 is going to snap. Not that much, as you can see, it's -1 and the character is not snapping. But it causes a little bit of issues for the, maybe for the food IK. Sometimes it default GASP you can't turn as fast as you showed earlier. What do you mean, default GASP? The default rotation is -1. What is the default rotation? Okay, so we're going to get the timeline. Get timeline 01. We're gonna have to stop this timelines in here, and I'm going to actually delete this so that we don't confuse and get any bugs. So we're going to get the timeline 1 and timeline 2. We're going to stop them. If in case we're passing aim, so if we're passing aim, we're going to set the rotation rate to be -1 directly. Or we could also set a timeline, which also works. Okay, the default value here is 22. Maybe if you set it to be -1, let me just see which value makes sense. Yeah, I think we can let it to be 22. 22. Let me set it to -1. Let's see if we have some changes. In the default GASP you cannot turn as fast as you showed. Is because I've changed the play rate of the turn montage, the turn animation. So shooting, and then you go back. Yeah, I think this project is looking really good. I like this. I like that. I'm going to make it to be white because let's just simulate the press. Simulate press. I think the white one looks better. You can really see the character, and I think it matches with the general feeling and vibe style of the map. Yeah. Rotation rate. The default rotation rate, we can set it to be -1. So rotation rate, you can set it to be -1 as it is right now on the default GASP project. And for the turning place animations, as you can see, I made it to be turning fast because I don't know, I like the responsiveness. And all you can do is just change the play rate. So if you go to turn stand, you're going to be able to find the animations. Oops, not that, stand, there you go. So you're going to basically select all the stand related animations, asset actions, edit selection property matrix. So you're going to type in here rate. The rate scale is going to be 1.15. It's not that much compared to what I've usually set it up. I set it up to be 1.5. Let me just wait for the motion magic to compile. It's compiling. Okay, I think it already did. I was setting up to be 1.5, but I think 1.15 works. So you can basically change the play rate. So I've made a system where, you know, even if you change direction while standing still, while finishing, exiting the aiming, you're going to be able to turn in place after you finish. So that's really good. Now let's go to the Sandbox character. As you can see here, we have the layer blend per bone, which is very important for when you're aiming. You know, we don't have that snapping effect, but you know, that's just an issue that we can fix later. I am going to print this IsAiming curve as a debug value because that's very important for us to know what's the aiming curve. And later, it's better for us to organize. I'm going to write this down because I cannot forget things to do, and it's very important for debugging and cleaning up the code, which is on the top of the list in here, which is going to be on top. Debug, organize debug values for. I think I can do this off stream off live stream. I don't know, off live, which is basically going to be the task for organizing the debug values. So as soon as you press on play in here, as you can see, all those values are showed up in here, and it's very confusing. You don't know like which one is the one, which one you want to debug. So maybe if you want to just debug the character locomotion related part, let's say the movement of the character, the motion matching setting, the rotation rate of the character, maybe. If you want to only debug that, you can just press one key and then you can allow the and only showing the information of the character related to that stuff. So let's say I want to show how many ammo is in the ground, you know, just debug things. So I can press the key 4 on the keyboard, and it's only, yeah, it's snapping, as you can see right there. Let me just change the animation. I don't like the snapping. We're running out of idle loop. This animation is causing the snapping. I don't like this, so let's just change that. Delete. Let's see if the snapping occurs again. I'm going to let all the chance to play animation reset to be default so that we can have the chance to play all the animations. Chance to play 1 1 1. So let's get back to it. So let's say if you want to debug only the ammo part of the rifle and you want to show that information in here, you can do that. So basically what you're trying to do is just organize the code and basically be able to choose what exactly you want to debug and separate them by categories. So let's say you want to debug the category of, you know, movement only, so that you can, you know, print all the strings related to movement, so that you can basically disable the information that you don't want to see on the screen and enable the information that you want to see on the screen based on what you're trying to debug. If you keep this up, you're going to run out of snappings. Yeah, that's the whole purpose. No snapping. But the thing here, what I'm trying to really do is debug print string values on screen. What I want to really try to do here is go debug that thing, the debug function. Just put this in here. I'm gonna have to cast to ABP Sandbox character. I'm going to get the mesh. Actually, get the mesh from here. Get Anim instance. I'm doing this very fast because I have to go right after this one, but just because I'm cool, I'm gonna leave the code for you guys. I'm gonna leave the code. Cast to Sandbox character, so ABP ref. I'm going to place this in the event graph. Begin play. Right over here. I'm gonna have to recognize this later, but that's okay. Good day. Anim curve. What is the name of the animation of the IsAiming curve? Oops, get IsAiming curve. Oh wow. I'm gonna have to hard code this. All right, now I have the aiming curve value, which is good. Now this is very unoptimized. Don't do this at home, but it's just for testing things. Well, actually, I don't need to do this at all. I can just you can just cut this, delete this. I don't know why I've done this. Now Sandbox character, go to the Sandbox character, go to the event graph, and just place it here. No problem. Aiming curve, boom. Set the key that it's not the same as the other keys. And let's just place it right over here. And then two. There we go. Press on play and it works the same. It's very much cleaner and much more optimized compared to the other way of getting the result. So let's go to the animation graph. Let me just delete all this. Don't keep the mess in the tabs. Usually when I open up projects of other people, they usually have like 200 tabs opened. 200 tabs opened in the project. And I don't know if they use the tabs at all or... So the aiming curve is displayed there. As you can see, when you aim, it works. But it is snapping. It's causing the snap. In the animation itself, it doesn't cause... In the curve value itself, as you can see, it slowly goes down to 0. But in here, you can see that it is the execution line is snapping a little bit. As you can see right there, boom, that's the snap that happens. I can try to place this before the pose history. Maybe that's the issue. I'm not sure. Press play again, and then just keep testing to see if I have snapping. Otherwise, I'm just going to, yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, we're going to have to keep testing this. I'm going to have to go now. So keep testing to see where is the best place to place this overlay layer here, so that when we aim, we don't have that snapping effect. But if we want to hard code this and basically make it work right away, what we can do is just plug this into here. I don't know if it's better to place it before or after the pulse history, but if you want to make it work right away, you can just get the rifle state. Let me just see where it is. Overlay states, rifle. Actually, you can also just plug in, copy and paste the the whole state machine of the rifle overlay in here. And I can do is just place the blend poses by bool in there. Let's see what's gonna happen, because I'm using the cached poses, and that used the poses that were in the past. And as I'm using poses that are in the past, and this is in the future, that could cause the snapping effect. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna test it out to see if that's gonna do anything. So okay, it works. Now it still snaps. I'm not sure if that's the layer and blend per bone is causing that snap. The blend depth, I'm going to set it to be, let me see what's snapping. Maybe it's just the spine, where you can just fix that by setting the blend depth to be a little bit less. I think it's just a clavicle. I'm going to delete the clavicle. Actually, I'm going to just make a copy of this and just delete this, the clavicle bone, and let's see if we have any snapping. Okay, you still have the snapping. Now, what I'm going to do is just get the clavicle R and delete the spine, actually replace. We're going to get the clavicle R in place in here and only the add that. And we also have the snapping. I'm going to put it to be local space to see if you have any rotation issues. Yeah, we also have the rotational issue. Right, that's very interesting. I've never seen a bug like this be so hard to to really know what it is. This one is tough. Let me just debug this one. Toggle pulse watch. Debug before. Oops. I've used the animation debug tool, which I've never heard of it. Interesting. Let's set the blend weight to be 0. Let's see what happens. Because if the blend weights are 0, then there's no reason of snapping. Okay. Now, I think I know what we have to do. Chun. I think we have to, as soon as you stop aiming, as soon as you stop aiming, you're going to set a timeline so that when you're aiming, you set that timeline curve to be set it to be 1 at 2 milliseconds, and then reset it to be 0 at 2 milliseconds, depending if the character is, as soon as the character stops aiming. And that's what we got to do. So you're going to go to the update overlay layers. That doesn't work, so I'm going to just unplug that, and we don't need to add that anymore, only if the character is aiming. We're going to go to the event graph and set that aiming curve based off value that is inside of the sandbox character, which we're going to be creating it right now. And based off the input of the character, the player is, if the player is aiming or not, we're going to update the state by adding a new pin in here so that we can give it more space. We're going to add the press is aiming in place in here. And what basically we gotta do is set the, we're going to basically create a variable called IsAiming curve layer fix rifle. Don't need to create that much long naming here, it's just for getting to know what we're really trying to do in here. We're going to set, we're going to add the new timeline. Actually two, no, actually one. We're going to reuse the same timeline to reverse. The length is going to be 2. It's going to go for going back and forth. It's time to be 0. The start, the length is going to be 2. Doesn't need that much. We're gonna have to input, oops. Time is 2 and the value is 1. And here the value is 0, 0. 0 out. Compile. If you want to add curves, you can also do. So play from start and reverse it based off of lerp curve. Just connect it right into there. Dang, I'm late. There we go. Now we fixed the curve. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna have to get that value to be set in there. So that's a joke. We're going to get the sandbox character. We're going to get the same name of the IsAiming. There we go. Now let's test it out. It's still snapping. Just see the value. That's weird. maybe we fixed it. What do you guys think? The snappy issue is gone. It's gone now. It's kind of gone. Get the rifle overlay in there. Let's see if we get better results with. Yeah, we get better results with the overlay state plugged in there. Yeah, I'm not sure if we fixed it or not. We're gonna have to do the comparison to see if we really fixed it. Really fixed it. Okay. Not bad. Let me just do one thing. I'm going to update the layer back because I think it makes more sense to update it by layer. I'm going to disable the timelines. I think the timelines are not the ideal for this. As we fixed the issue like this, we don't need the timelines because it doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm just going to disable the mesh of the UFN mannequin, and boom, ta-da, ta-da. Okay, go to still cam. I like this camera a lot because it gives you the perspective of how it is going to play, and you can really see if the locomotion has if the foot is sliding at all. As you can see, it's not sliding. The motion matching works really good with the foot IK. Quadruple A. Quadruple. Yeah, I guess we fixed it. By just selecting an option that I don't even know how it works. To be honest, that's how we fix things, just messing around. If you go to the event graph, the only option I've enabled here is just the curve blend option, which is just do not override. Only set the value if the previous pose doesn't have the curve value, which, okay, that's really interesting. If you set it to override, the last pose that contains valid curve value override it. That's really interesting. I didn't know about this. I've always wondering if the curves were not reading the, you know, all those, because when you're dealing with layer blend per bone, you're also you also have to handle the curve values, and you always have this option to place in here. I didn't know that these options did anything. So as soon as we get to more complex systems, we need to keep learning more, even more. So as you can see, if that option is off, the character snaps. His arms, as you can see, snaps. Poof. And if this option is on, do not override. When you press on play, the snapping doesn't happen. Thank me later. I'm just going to delete all the things that doesn't need to be in here. Organize this a little bit. All right, that's going to be it, guys. I'm going to upload the files for the premium members on the Patreon channel, so we can have this project for the price that is in there. I'm very hungry right now. I need to eat. I'm very hungry. Just to fix this, I've sacrificed my time to get this fix to be done, and that's what it is. That's why devs suffer a lot. Classic UE5 sabotaging the user. GG's. So see ya, everyone. Have a good day, everyone.